Congressman Buddy Carter, the Georgia Republican congressman, on all of this. Congressman, you're, I assume, a no vote on this, as were all your Republican colleagues likely. That sentiment still prevails, right?
Absolutely. This is a very bad bill for the state of Georgia. We're going to lose $1.3 billion simply because we didn't close our businesses. We kept our economy going. And because of that, we're going to be penalized. And this money is going to go to blue states like California and New York that closed their businesses and destroyed their economies. Not only that, but we're also going to lose $11.5 billion to the seniors on Medicare in the state of Georgia. And once again, where's that money going? It's going to the blue states and California and New York. This is nothing more than Nancy Pelosi paying back her supporters.
You know, most states are going to get something out of this, to your point, Congressman. I find it odd, though, when you start looking at the particulars and the requirements for getting this federal dough, you can't use it for tax cuts. In other words, if you're just fine doing hunky-dory and you want to give it to your taxpayers, there's a stipulation in here you can't do that. Why is that?
I have no idea. You'll have to ask the Democrats who crafted that language in there. It makes no sense whatsoever. You know, look, some of these states have actually, like California, they've got billions of dollars more in revenues this year than they had in the previous year. They don't need this money. Not only that, but keep in mind, we've already got $1 trillion that's already been appropriated, that's already been allocated in a bipartisan fashion that's just sitting there. Why are we adding $1.9 trillion more to our debt? Now, I get it. I know there are still people hurting out there. I know there are still needs out there. But we got $1 trillion we can use for those people who are hurting, for those needs that need to be fulfilled.
All right. Now, we're told, Congressman, your comments notwithstanding, that this will just eke through and the president will sign it. But he's already focusing on an infrastructure package that could cost considerably more than this. Where are you on that? We don't know any of the details. We don't even know what will be broken down in that, how it will be paid for, just that is being teed up as we speak.
Well, certainly, I've always felt like infrastructure is something that we can work on in a bipartisan fashion. However, if we judge it by what the Democrats have done and by what President Biden has done thus far in his administration, remember in his inaugural speech, he said, I'm going to unify this country. I'm going to unify this Congress. Well, he's done anything but that in his first 100 days in office. And certainly, if that's to be the judgment here, then I'm not especially looking forward to what's going to be in that infrastructure package. The devil's in the details. We'll have to see how are we going to pay for it. But one thing remains certain. We need an infrastructure package. We need to improve infrastructure in this country.
All right. For those of you just watching at home, and to the left of the screen here, as I'm talking to Georgia Republican Congressman Buddy Carter, the vote is on in the House right now for that $1.9 trillion stimulus package. I believe all are accounted for today, so you would need 218 votes to make this happen. As I keep saying here, there's not much wiggle room for Democrats because this will go along party lines, as the congressman pointed out, with most, if not all, Democrats supporting it. All Republicans are against it. 2 Democrats did not support it in its first incarnation a little bit more than a month ago. They can't afford to lose more than 4. Congressman, do you see a possibility that they do, that they lose more than they thought here?
Well, as an internal optimist, I'm hoping that 2 more Democrats will come to their senses and realize that this is not what we need. It's the wrong bill at the wrong time for the wrong reasons. Again, I understand there's still needs out there. I understand also that we still got $1 trillion we haven't spent that can be used for those needs.
Congressman, while I have you as well, and you were someone involved in the Pfizer therapy treatment, and I'm just wondering, when you look at what's going on now with the administration making available 100 million more doses of Johnson & Johnson's 1-dose therapy, vaccines no longer seem to be a problem. We have more than we could shake a proverbial stick at now. The problem still seems, I don't know how it's in your fine state, but the problem still seems getting it into people's arms. What do you think of that?
Well, it is. And first of all, let's pause and think for a second. We've got 3 vaccines in just a year's period of time. How phenomenal is that? That is phenomenal in itself. And as a professional pharmacist, I will tell you, I really do respect what the pharmaceutical manufacturers and what Operation Warp Speed has achieved in this. Now, you're right. It does us no good to have the vaccines unless they are injected in the arm. That's where pharmacists have come in as healthcare heroes and actually assisted in the administration of these vaccines. And all of our healthcare workers have just been phenomenal. I tell you, this is one of our greatest success stories in the history of this country, what we've done in response to this vaccine.
You know, Congressman, Texas is opening fully today. A number of states are loosening restrictions on who gets the vaccine. But the criticism seems centered on, at least the part of Democrats, on Texas opening too soon when so few of its, citizens have been vaccinated. I think 7 or 8%, something like that. As a pharmacist by trading, does that make a difference to you?
Well, you know, Texas has been a leader in this. Look at Florida. Look at Georgia. We've all maintained our economy and maintained our workers and had them to continue. And we are some of the states that are doing the best here in the response to the pandemic. So I would submit that these are wise decisions that are being made. Yes, we need to continue to follow the rules. We need to wear a mask. We need to wash our hands, watch our distance, all of those things. But I really do feel like we've got the upper hand now in this pandemic. And again, how phenomenal is that? This is one of the greatest medical achievements in the history of mankind.
You know, Congressman, I'd be remiss, and Georgia, of course, was an epicenter of a lot of the electoral battle back and forth, losing those 2 Senate seats. There's been a back and forth with the president, former President Donald Trump, issuing a cease and desist order to the Republican National Committee not to use his name in support of candidates here. It seems like a pretty serious divide between the former president and the RNC. Are you worried about it?
Well, I just spoke to our former senior senator, David Perdue, and he and I talked at length about this. And yeah, it's a matter of concern. There's no question about that. But I'm convinced, and Senator Perdue has been in touch with the president, and they've had some very good, productive conversations about this. I'm still convinced that President Trump is fully on board in getting Republicans back into the majority. So I see this as just a stumbling block that we will be able to get over, because look, once all of these policies that are being implemented by the extremists in the Democratic Party, once these people start understanding the impact that they're having, particularly at the border, particularly when you see Biden's border policy and what he's doing there, that's going to be the thing that makes the difference.
All right, Congressman Buddy Carter, thank you very, very much. From the beautiful state of Georgia, Buddy Carter.